in reference to Hari Krishna. And many of you, know about Hari Krishna because you see them come up in the bus once a year, and they have their robes on and so forth and so on. But probably many of you did not know that the Hare Krishna means Christ the Son. And Shri Krishna, of which he goes under that name many times, means Christ the King. Isn't that interesting? And it gets even more interesting when you hear the story of how he was born. It seems that his mother, her name was Devaki, had never had a relationship with a man. And yet she was pregnant. She couldn't figure that out. And so as she was sitting in her lounge one day, an angel came and said, "Fear not, Devaki, for that which is within your womb is the personality of God. You are to give birth to God's Son, Hare Krishna." It sounds like you may have heard that story before, but it gets more interesting because when little Hari Krishna was born, the king, whose name was Kansa, heard that Hari Krishna was going to try to overthrow his government, so he went out and he set out to kill all the children 2 years and younger. And when Hari Krishna was born, his mother had to have him in a cave because she was being chased by this Kansa. And the stars became very auspicious, and one star pointed to the place of Hari Krishna's birth. And to finish off the story, they didn't call them shepherds in those times, they called them the cowherd girls. And the cowherd girls came and ministered and raised little Hari Krishna. So if you think it might be the same story that you hear at Christmas time, it is. It certainly is. And of course, a lot of people have trouble with that. He's saying Jesus is Hari Krishna. No, Jesus said before Abraham was, I am. Let it be. It's the same philosophy. And we're going to take a look tonight at Hari Krishna and see, where does Krishna live? Krishna, which means Christ. Where does Krishna live? Hari Krishna appears on earth. I'm going to tell you the story. What his purpose is he appears on earth as consciousness to invite souls back to the Godhead. That's his mission. He is to save you out of the world and bring you back to the place of God, which is all inside of yourself. That's where Hari Krishna, that's what his meaning is. That's what his purpose is, okay? And Krishna manifests as the eternal nature. The eternal nature is this. We can see the sky, we can see the sun, we can see the moon, but there is something far beyond that you can't see. There's that regal part of the celestial, divine, natural state of things which is unapproachable to anyone who is within the human body. You can't do it. Anyone who tries to project this or understand religiously from the mind will never touch this because it's not open to the mind. And that's where he dwells. He remains eternal and within and without. So let's find out where he lives. According to the story of Hari Krishna, he lives in palaces. He lives in palaces made of touchstone. Palaces made of touchstone. And he lives with trees and cows. That's where he lives. He plays a flute. That's very important. His eyes are the color of lotus petals. The color of his body is as a beautiful cloud. And on his head is a peacock feather. This is one fancy dude, isn't it? Okay? And you say, well, that's very interesting. That's quite a wild thing. But if you look at the book of Revelation in your Bible, you see a description of Christ and the Godhead. And if you look at page 226 in the book of Revelation in the New Testament, Revelation chapter 1 and verse 15, you see a description of God that is somewhat complementary to this. It said, Revelation 1 verse 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool and white as snow. His eyes were as a flame of fire. His feet were like unto fine brass, and they burned in a furnace. And his voice is the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword. So, I would think that here's a fellow who lives in palaces of touchstone with trees, cows, a flute, lotus petals, a cloud, and a peacock feather. And, it's kind of complementary to that which you see in the Bible of a sharp two-edged sword coming out of somebody's mouth. If you look at that literally, it means nothing, and it should mean nothing. But if you begin to address these things mystically, then it should mean something to you. How in the world, somebody says to me, I think you're a mystic. How could you possibly approach this thing called God in any other way? There are, that most fundamentalists, that, television, religious people believe God is an American. I can't even deal with the fact that, he's an American. He's on our side. Thank God for the red, white, and blue. They bring the Marines into church and everything else. They march up the thing. They play God Bless America. All this stuff. God's an American. He's on our side. Must be. Has to be. Because that's what we were told. But as in the Bible, all of the descriptions concerning Hari Krishna, all of the descriptions concerning God are relating to a consciousness, your consciousness. In other words, think about your consciousness today. What did you think of today? How did you feel today? How did your mind react today? Did you get mad today? Did you sulk today? Did you lose your temper today? You're smiling. You see? Because if you didn't today, you did yesterday, and if you didn't today or yesterday, you will tomorrow, because that's the way it is. Because you are programmed into a battlefield that rages within you, and one day or the other, you'll clash with yourself. That's the way it is. Right. So maybe you didn't raise your hand and said, yes, I did this, because nobody will ever admit to that. And so they figure, it's like any other church. Everybody sits. We're holy, we sing songs, we read the Bible, but there's one person that sits, I'm the one he's talking about. Not knowing that everyone is thinking the same thing. Because everyone goes through those things. So we're talking about consciousness. God is consciousness. Life is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. You'll never have any peace on the outside unless you have peace on the inside. It's not possible. Because if you're all of a sudden, if you're feeling, like, for instance, I have always been very obvious about my sulking. One time when Joan and I went to a party, and I do these kind of things. That's why too many people don't invite me to their parties. We went to a party, and I didn't want to go. We had a fight. And so I said, well, how could I display the fact that I don't want to be at this party? Well, there's been 50 people at this party. They're all mingling around, have their cocktails, they're playing and all that stuff. I sat in a chair in the middle of the living room with my overcoat on, buttoned up to here. They have pictures of that, don't they? Somebody has a picture of that. Everybody's dancing. Hey, having a great time. Hey, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. And I'm sitting with my overcoat on. Well, that's pretty demonstrative of the fact that I don't want to be there. You see? And so I was demonstrating this. What's it? Your mind. But that's the way my mind does. If it sets, bang, it goes. It doesn't make any difference. It just does not make any difference who's there, who cares, or whatever. And that's why I'm picked for this job, I'm sure. It just makes no difference. And so consciousness is the thing. Everybody is dancing. I could have went there, taken my jacket off, and sat there with everybody else and sipped the martini or whatever you sip, and everybody think, aren't we having a good time? See? But I didn't do that, and I couldn't do that. I sat with my overcoat on to demonstrate. I thought, this stinks, and I don't want to be here. But the rest, everybody else was there, and there was other people, I'm sure, that didn't want to be there because it wasn't that good of a party. But they stood there, making, hey, how are you? Yeah, oh, yeah, and all this stuff. And all the while inside, they're whispering, let's get back out of here. How are we going to stay? All of this stuff. Because consciousness will, if it doesn't betray you to the other person, it betrays you to yourself. So let's look at the symbolic significance of Hare Krishna. Notice he lives in palaces or temples. Temples. That's where he lives. Where's the temple? How many of you have a finger? Point it over to here. What is this? Temple. That's the temple. That's where he lives. When Jesus drove the money changers, where did he drive them out of? He drove the money changers out of the temple. That means he drives the thoughts out of your head. He didn't drive any money changers out of the temple. What do you care if he got lost his temper and went in and threw a lot of people out of church? Who cares? What difference is that going to make to you? Nothing. But on the other hand, if this nut house that you've got for a temple is driving you crazy with a bunch of fakakta stuff going on all day, and you know that he'll drive it out of you, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? All of a sudden, it makes a big difference now that Jesus can drive this stuff out of the temple.
I don't really care what happened in Palestine or whatever this place is. Who cares? I don't want to go there. I don't want to know from there. I want to know what happens now here. Other than that, it doesn't make no difference. The guy went across the Red Sea. You don't believe that? I could care less. That is not going to pay your mortgage because he went across the Red Sea. It's not going to take care of your kids because some guy went across the Red Sea with Egyptians chasing them and they get stuck in the mud and the sea closes on them. I don't want to know from that because that means nothing to me. But on the other hand, if I know that the Red Sea is the churning emotions of the mind, and that when that emotional Red Sea churns and blocks me from my escape, that I can look up to that higher place and the sea will part and I can run over to the promised land, and then all the thoughts that try to drag me down are going to be crushed under the weight of this Red Sea, then that makes something to me because it's real. So we want to get into the point of it's real. He lives in temples or palaces means he lives in people. People are palaces. People are temples. People are dwelling places, not made with human hands. That's what Jesus Christ said. We will build a temple not made with human hands. Okay? Now there's an interesting thing. It's made of touchstone. The palaces are made with touchstone. What this is saying is that Krishna or Christ, it's the same thing. Krishna or Christ dwells in the consciousness of people whose consciousness is of touchstone. All right? Now let's go to Webster's Dictionary. We have to go to Webster's Dictionary because if you're like me, I don't know what the heck touchstone is. What could that be? According to Webster's Dictionary, touchstone is a black siliceous. It's a limestone. It's black. It is related to flint. You know what flint does? Makes fire. Sparks, fire. Okay? Also, Webster says that it was formerly used to test the purity of silver and gold. And Webster's Dictionary also says that it is a test or criteria for determining the quality of genuineness. You can look it up. Webster's Dictionary. You must have a dictionary. Do you have a dictionary? Where? Here? Are you going to go in there and look it up to see if I'm telling the truth? I don't want you to look it up now, but I'm saying you can. She was going to go look up the dictionary and see if I'm telling the truth. I don't even know how to spell. Now she got me so shook up, I don't know how to spell genuineness. Genuine. Okay? So that's what touchstone is. Okay? It's black. It's like flint. Makes fire. Tests for silver and gold. And also used to determine that if the thing is the real article. So there's Christ consciousness. That's Krishna consciousness, and he lives in touchstone, which is the part that starts the fire. In other words, if you do not have touchstone in you spiritually, if you do not have something in you that can be made to come alive with fire, can be made to come alive with spirit, he's not there. Okay? Take a look in the Bible at page 72 in your New Testament. Go to the book of Luke. Let's talk about this touchstone. Let's talk about this flint. Let's talk about this fire business, and let's take a look at something. Okay? Luke chapter 12. Is it too dark for you to see out there, or can you see all right? Everybody can see fine, because we turn those lights on, it gets hot. We don't want to have it hot in here. If it's too hot in here, then I get all concerned. Luke chapter 12. You there? Page 72. And let's go to verse 49. Everybody there? Luke chapter 12, verse 49. What does Jesus say? I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will? In other words, I wish it be already kindled. Okay? Do you see that now? That's why it's very necessary that Krishna or Christ consciousness symbolically dwells in a palace or in somebody who is made of touchstone who is willing to be set on fire with the Spirit. See it? This isn't a coincidence. Okay. This is real. This is true. And remember, this is written 3,000, 4,000 years before Jesus Christ was born. Touchstone. Interesting. So, Krishna dwells in beings where the being is used to start the fire of Christ. Now, notice something else. The stone is black. Okay? That stone is called, that black stone is called Kaaba. Kaaba. K-A-A-B-A. It is in Hinduism related to the
pineal gland of the brain. The pineal gland of the brain. And why is it black? It is black to signify the fact that this dwelling place of the Almighty, glorious One, the creative power of the universe, dwells deep in the hidden recesses in the fire of that human consciousness which cannot be approached through that which is outer light or that which is the things of the mind. He dwells in the secret places. The black stone of Kaaba, the pineal gland. Remember the other night, whatever it was, we were telling you about the pineal gland secreting melatonin. It was in the New York Times. Melatonin, when it's secreted by the pineal gland, can kill cancer cells and strengthen the immune system. That was Dr. Wilson in the New York Times of April 2nd said this. Jesus Christ said, if your eye be single, if you stimulate the pineal gland, your body will fill with light. That melatonin is a lightener. So he could have said, if you stimulate the pineal gland, your body will fill with melatonin. Then why aren't you meditating? Because if you stimulate the pineal gland and the melatonin flows in your body, it can kill cancer cells that you don't even know are there. Microscopic cancer cells can be washed away simply by your meditating. And you know what it is with melatonin? Do you know what it is with the pineal gland? It doesn't move if there's light on outside. If you're open to the outer light, it does nothing. When you shut down and enter into the place of the deep darkness, that pineal gland starts to activate and the melatonin flows. That's what Dr. Wilson said. That's why the black stone. Do you see the reason for the black stone? But then there's this thing here from Dr. Philpott in the newspaper today. Sleeping with magnets on your pillow will boost your energy, relieve your pain, make you feel younger, pep up your sex life, increase your lifespan, lower your cholesterol, solve emotional problems. Sleeping with magnets. That's why it's been this way. Now let me show you something here. Dr. Philpott of Oklahoma, psychiatrist, I have found magnets to be the most predictable pain-relieving agent that can be found. They relieve arthritis, severe cases of arthritis, headaches, and even have anti-cancer and anti-infectious and anti-aging values. I've even helped psychotic patients. I mount the magnets to the temples and blah, 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 blah. There are no side effects. Philpott says magnets stimulate production of melatonin. The same hormone that is secreted by the pineal gland that destroys cancer cells, according to Dr. Wilson. So look what they're finding. And your religion is telling you don't meditate. It's evil. And what do? They come to the funeral parlor and bury you. Well, God, Jesus Christ was saying, no, don't do that. Meditate. Let the pineal gland come alive. Let the single eye come alive. Let the melatonin flow. Let the cancer cells be driven out of your body and live. It's a big difference. Sorry. But they're afraid of things. These people out there that teach in religion and on television are afraid of that which is perfectly natural, and they call it a cult. And the reason they call it a cult is because they know nothing of themselves. Now, Krishna lives in you where the fire of the Spirit can be kindled deep within yourself. And the touchstone, it says in Webster's dictionary, is used to test the purity of silver and gold. Remember we said that? Silver and gold. Touchstone, according to Webster's dictionary, is used to test the purity of silver and gold. And that's where Krishna lives within inside of you. Come with me to page 467 in your Old Testament. Old Testament now. Go to the book of Psalms. Go to the book of Psalms. And let's go to Psalm chapter 12. You with me? Page 467 in your Old Testament. Go to the book of Psalms. Psalm chapter 12. Everybody there? No, come on, Benson, hurry up. Psalm chapter 12, and let's take a look then at Psalm chapter 12, verse 6. What does it say? The words of the Lord are pure words as silver, tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. And that 7 times is talking about the chakras, which are the 7 nerve centers which rise from the base of the spine up the spine to the pineal gland of the brain. Okay, now let's go to page 770 in your New Testament, your Old Testament, excuse me, the book of Zechariah. 770 in your Old Testament, the book of Zechariah, and I want to show you something else. Zechariah and chapter 13. Okay, Zechariah chapter 13, page 770. Let's go to verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire. What's the third part? Physical, intellectual, emotional. That's the third part. The fourth part's not there. That's your spirit. That's the part that carries you up into that place. Physical, intellectual, and emotional is the third part. I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined and will try them as gold is tried. You see this here? What is touchstone used for? For trying silver and gold. That's why Krishna lives in palaces made of touchstone. Why is that? What's silver and gold got to do with it? Silver in mysticism stands for human consciousness. It's related to the moon. Gold in mysticism stands for divine consciousness. It's related to the sun. So it has to do very much with your consciousness and with your state of being. But here then we're getting a better look at now why all of this business of Krishna or why Christ exists in this type of thing. Within you, in this touchstone where the fire of the Spirit can be lit, the black stone, which means it's hidden from that which is the light of the outside, tried of silver and gold. And we've gotten that far. So there you have basically where Krishna lives, where the fire of the Spirit tries the inner qualities of the mind and finds them pure. Now, there's something else about Krishna. Where else he lives here? Where Krishna lives, there are trees. That's very, very important. In tree is the tree of life or whatever, stands for mankind. That's you and me. The vineyard that is planted with God's right hand. The tree. Okay. It is there where Christ exists. In Psalm 1:3 it says, he shall be like a tree planted by the water. Look at that again. Page 463 in your Old Testament. Psalms, the very first page, the very first Psalm, Psalm chapter 1, verse 3. And it's talking about you, see? That's why he dwells in there. That's why he lives within you. And it says, he shall be like a tree planted by the water. What did we cover this morning about the tree? What is the holy tree? What is the mystical tree? That which is the fig tree. Why is the fig tree a beautiful tree? Why is the fig tree a mystically holy tree? Because the fig blossoms on the inside. You may look at yourself on the outside and say, oh, well, I can't, I'm nothing to look at. It doesn't make any difference. A fig is nothing to look at on the outside, but when you slice it open, it bursts forth with light, it bursts forth with color, it bursts forth with blossoms on the inside. So he shall be like a tree planted by the water. In other words, Krishna, Christ consciousness dwells within you there at that place where you can come alive. And what did Jesus say this morning? When you start to meditate, when you start to get in this, you'll start to see leaves coming out on you. Not really, but you'll... That's all we need, right? But you'll start to see signs that things are going good. Ask yourself, since you started this, since you started feeling this way, since you started looking this way, you feel differently. Your family feels differently. You think differently about everything. You fall in love with nature again. And when you sit and watch what you saw last week or this week on television, what happened in the Soviet Union, you know why it happened. Everybody's coming on television saying, oh, who would ever thought this could happen? You did. You expected it. Because this is a revolution of consciousness that's going on throughout the universe today. And that's just the beginning of it. You haven't seen anything yet because it's going to come right to your doorstep. And it's going to set you free and set your children free and set this country free because there's a lot of clean sweeping, a lot of house cleaning. Don't think all the old-time hardliners are in Russia. There's plenty of them right here. And all of those hardliners that are plugged into the old Middle Ages where we tell them this stuff and scare them, see, and then keep them quiet. And they come in and give us the money, and then we'll tell them, don't worry about it. Just keep giving your money. We'll sing songs together. Then when you die, everything good will happen. What a deal. Shut up. Give me your money. I'll say some prayers for you, and when you die, everything good will happen. And you know, that wouldn't be so bad. We bought it. We bought it. And we even got guys come on television. If you send me your credit card, Claire, I haven't been feeling too good lately, but if you send me a credit card, $1,000, that's what God wants you to do, Claire. Do $1,000. I got a hanky here. I'll blow on it, and I'll send it to you.
Used once.
At least once I'll blow on it. But this is what we do, and we buy it. And these people perpetuate this stuff. This horror, okay? That's called religion. I want to read you something also that I think is beautiful. Where else does cricket? I know our cricket is singing out there. See, the
cricket only starts singing when all truth is being poured out. If he was in any other church, he wouldn't say, the cricket sings because it's true. Sing, cricket. Hear the cricket? Cricket saying, listen to him, he is right. See, that's talking in tongues here. That's the closest we get to cricket. Where else does Krishna dwell? He dwells with cows. Why would he dwell with cows? You know, cows are sacred. Why is the cow sacred? What happens to a cow? A cow takes in from the earth that which is of the ground, changes it inside, and it comes back to you milk, the heavenly divine food. The transformation, the metamorphosis, if you would, of that which is of the earth turned into that which is the divine milk. The milk! See? And what is it? Everybody in religion, I'm being fed on the milk of the word and all of this kind of business. Where did that come from? It comes from Hinduism. It comes from Krishna. Because the cows are holy. The cows are saying, let me read you something from the Upanishads of Krishna. Listen to this. Cows alone make sacrificial oblations possible by producing sacrificial butter. Cows take away every sin. Cows are our friends. They give food, they give happiness. Harm not the cow. And did you ever see their eyes, the cow's eyes? Huh? There's a certain beauty about it. But basically, that, you see, the combination, or what Krishna suggests and what he suggests in the Bhagavad Gita that we teach on Friday night, is that you take your thoughts. Because the thoughts are those things that grow out of your mind. And you are able to take, say, 90% of those thoughts, but you should take 10% of that and take that and tithe it in your meditation. And when you give those thoughts, then when you shut down your mind and give those thoughts to God in meditation, what happens? The cow, the holy cow, if you would, digests and consumes those and then gives you back that which is the divine milk, the food of life, the food of the Word, the food of the Spirit. Cows. So Krishna lives in the transforming power, transforming that which is the lower, that which is the earth, that which is the grass of the divine spirit milk. Go to page 214 in the New Testament. Let's take a look at something. 214 in the New Testament, and for the rest of you, it's 1 Peter. Okay? 214, and for the rest of you, it's 1 Peter, chapter 2. Chapter 2. What's it say? Verse 2. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby. In other words, as you give your offering of that which comes from you, that which grows out of you, the thoughts of the mind, it is taken and consumed by that which is the spiritual cow, that which is the spirit within you, and given back to you as the milk of the word. And there's something else here that's interesting. Krishna plays the flute. He always plays the flute. Why would he play the flute? Because the flute of Krishna is the sound Om, Om, the universal sound. You ever see when what they call him, the snake charmer in India, he'll sit and he'll play his flute. Actually, I'll get news. The snake doesn't hear the flute. He sees the movement of the flute, and the snake comes out of the basket. But what it was said through Hinduism is that when the flute is on the lips of God, the serpent will rise. And the serpent will spread himself out, and the serpent is a symbol of God too. Okay. This is the Om sound, and it draws the life serpent from that lower part up into the higher realms. So all of these things we're finding out about Krishna, and then we find out that he has eyes like lotus petals. The eyes are consciousness. The eyes stand for the symbol of wisdom to the intellect. And the lotus is a combination of truth and beauty. It's a flower. It comes out of the mud. Its roots are in the mud. The roots are in the most dirty part. It comes through the water, which is the truth, and bursts forth up into the air, which is God consciousness, Christ consciousness. Though rooted in the earth, its higher part is open to the sun. And the color, it says, of Krishna is as a beautiful cloud. And that identifies Krishna as the unseen spirit. What's it say? We will rise to meet Jesus in the air. He will come back with clouds. The cloud surrounded the mountain of Moses. God spoke out of the cloud. The Son of Man comes in the clouds of heaven. So you have an idea what this is all about. It's exactly the same as what you're taught about the appearance of Christ. He dwells inside of you. He comes to that point where he will set a fire within you. He dwells at that point where he nurtures you as the fig tree, where you blossom within yourself. He takes that which comes from you in thought and turns it into the milk of the Word. If the flute is on the lips where He brings you harmony, the lotus petals that you are born into the earth, you come up through the truth of His Word, you break out into the air, into the sun. He is in the unseen spirit. You know what I did? And I noticed in all of these things that I did, I never got to the point about the peacock feather. We're going to have to study that. We'll have to come back and learn about the peacock feather. Never got to the peacock feather. Look at that. Everything else we covered, but we didn't get to the peacock feather. But what does all of that mean? Oh, what does all of it mean? What does all of it mean to you? So the guy's got peacock feathers on his head. He plays flutes. There's clouds running around, lotus petals, trees, all this stuff. What do I care? What is this going to do for me? I mean, you're standing with somebody, you're sitting there, what the heck am I going to do with peacock feathers? What do I have to do? You have to wear a peacock feather. Look at them. They're serious. This guy's serious. I have to wear a peacock feather. That's part of it down here, the ritual of the peacock feather. Show them what I'm talking about, Al. What you have to understand, quite simply, is that you have to come to grips with yourself. You have to come to grips with who you are. You have to come to grips with what God really is. You have to come to grips with the fact that Krishna and Christ, Jesus, are the same thing. There is no difference. And Jesus Christ taught us, He took that which was of Buddha, He took that which is of Krishna, He molded it into that which was spirit and handed it to you and said, here, take it, consume it, live with it, ride with it, let it carry you up above all of the things that have hurt you all of your life. So He is wisdom, He is understanding, He is all of these things, and all of these things are portrayed in your Bible. The milk of the Word, the flute, and all of these things are portrayed in your Bible, the harmony that it brings to your life. But what are you going to do about it? So I say, I'm going to erase all this because it's irrelevant. You've learned about Krishna. You've learned about where all this stuff comes in the Bible. But what does it mean to you? You can't do all of this stuff. You don't have to become a literary giant. You don't have to become a guru. But what do you have to do? You have to sit down. You have to simply come to grips with yourself. You have to find that place within you where Krishna lives. You have to find that place within you where Christ lives. I don't really care who it is that you're finding within you, but you've got to find that dwelling place of that which is the creative power of God above all of the thoughts of the mind which have held you captive all of your life. And I know that so many of you that have come through these doors and have experienced these things, and you know it works. You know it works. And you sit now and you watch all of the things that are happening all over the world. What would you say if you read about this in the Bible? Oh, you know, this is kind of far-fetched. You're living through it. You're watching it on television. What you're seeing is the culmination of a new age. That age is going to experience, and I'm sure of it, in about 18, 19 years. The age of Aquarius, all of these, and you're living to see it. You're living to experience it. You're in the middle of it. There's no reason that you should be bored. There's no reason that you should go back and let a bunch of people tell you what sing Amazing Grace and all of this stuff. You want to know. You want to be a part of it. I could say to you, let's go in and read the menu at the Chinese restaurant. So what? You can't eat the menu. Nothing's going to satisfy you by reading a menu. You're going to get satisfied reading the Bible. Look, you're taking notes. For what? What are you going to do? We're going to study the notes. What is it going to tell you? Well, you'll tell somebody, and they won't believe you any more than they believe me. What are you going to do with the notes? I'll refer to my notes. So you've read some more. But what about if you stop and you close the Bible and you put the notes down and all of that stuff you put off on the shelf and you actually go into the place and you touch this thing which we call God? I mean, you actually touch it. You say, well, I don't understand how to do that. I don't understand how this light comes through the wires from the nuclear plant. I don't have to. All I have to do is throw a switch and it's here. I don't have to understand all of this stuff in order to experience it. When I went to the hospital today, there was a girl in there that you heard about this morning that had a car accident. I said, say Myoho Renge Kyo. Myoho Renge Kyo. Because you have to put yourself into a state of tranquility. You have to bring yourself to an inner point of nature, and that will help the doctors do what they have to do to give you a healing. You don't have to understand that. You drive the car. Most of you, you'll go out of this place, you'll get into a car. No, nobody understands how the car works. So what? You drive it anyhow. Do it. Who are you going to trust if you can't? I mean, for God's sakes, if Buddha taught you these things 4,000 years ago and Krishna taught you these things 7,000 years ago, Jesus taught them for you 3,000 years, you're still going listening to people, reading books, trying to figure it out. There's nothing to be figured out. There's no secret to be figured out. All you have to do is stop what you're doing, put it all down, sit in a corner somewhere, say Om or Myoho, or just raise yourself above the thoughts of your mind. That'll do it. It's that simple. It doesn't require anything of you. It doesn't require anything of me. You don't have to become any kind of a religious person in order to accomplish this. All you have to do is discipline yourself. And you go to all these people that say, all you got to do is have faith in Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ sat with the disciples, 12 disciples. And he said, fellas, I'm going to get killed, and then 3 days later, I'm going to rise out of the tomb. These were the guys that hung around him. Do you know what? Not one of them showed up. Not even with a pair of binoculars did they go, hey, let's see, maybe the guy was, nah, he's crazy, what? Where were they? How are you going to have faith if the guys who lived with them couldn't show up? They couldn't even turn. Where was one guy to say, hey, yeah, here he is, looking. The door's open, he's popping out. I told you, right on schedule. Nobody there. Nobody there. Girl comes. A lady comes. What does it all mean? The tomb gets rolled away from. Here's the whole Roman army hanging around, and the tomb rolls by angels and thunders and everything, and they didn't wake up. Do you know what that means? That the shaking that's going on all over is the stone rolling back, the tomb is opening, Christ is coming out all over the place, and all of them are sound asleep. Totally sound asleep. They've never woken up. They haven't the slightest idea what's going on. They're still waiting. They're waiting. They got binoculars. They're looking over Barnegat Bay because he's going to come through the eastern sky on a white horse. You know, how old are you? I just said a little pathetic to think that you honestly believe that a God is going to come loping along on a white horse. What if the horse goes a bathroom in the clouds and everything? What's going to happen? It'll rain. It'll rain.
That's what you call acid rain.
I mean, don't you know any? Don't we know better than to believe that? But do you know they believe it? Here he comes, loping along, singing a song. I'm Jesus, hi! Who was that? What went by? Oh, that was a 747. And the horse gets scared by a 747. It turns around. It's running the wrong way. God's yelling for contact with the horse already. I told you, take a rocket. What are you never going to get there? You don't pay any attention to me. Turn around. Hey, whoa, all of this stuff. But this is, as stupid as that sounds, we have based our entire foundation of religion on this. We are going to church by the millions waiting for this guy to come loping along in a white horse. But before he comes in his white horse, according to our teachers, God has to declare a nuclear war and blow up Israel and blow up Russia with a nuclear war. So this is part of God's little party that we're waiting for. Is this nice? Are you pleased with God that you're worshiping God? Oh, Heavenly Father. He's up there planning an atomic war according to your Bible teachers. And not only that, get this part. When the atomic war comes, all the dead bodies are going to get out of the graves. Here they come down Lacey Road. This is the day we waited for, folks. Can you see them all coming out? Do you want to be around for this? The atomic war, dead bodies coming down Lacey Road, and here he comes, loping along, singing.